Episode 89.
Yeah, 89.
Yeah, 89. We're getting on here with Luke as always. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, it's good, mate. Listen, we're still undefeated in since the Man City game, which is brilliant. So start with last night, mate. Obviously, Aston Villa 0, West Ham 0. Typical result for the Villa game, really, and a draw. I think we even predicted a draw last time.
Yeah. I mean, we did say, history of draws in this fixture. We did say that. So, in the build up to the game, we were talking, obviously, and it's been a long time since I felt that nervous before a game, just because the opportunity to go third, joint points with City, 2-point gap to fourth would have been massive. It would have been a statement from the club, but it wasn't to be. West Ham did what they did best and kind of bottled it.
I wouldn't say we didn't turn up though. I wouldn't.
So for me, and I said this a couple of times last night, we looked so scared of messing up that we were too frightened to actually try and win the game.
And that is that mentality thing. I even said to you, mate, before the game, didn't I? I said, this is a true test of whether we believe, we're a big club or not. And whether we, it's that thing of believing that you deserve to be there. Just that we're punching above our weight a little bit here. The big clubs, we're meant to be in that top four. We're meant to be in that top six.
Yeah. I think everything was just in general throughout the game, really, until we went down to 10 men at least anyway. Everything was so slow. We were just so
final third
forward, and everything was sideways, backwards. I think Anderson had a poor game. I don't think he took his man on once. He seemed, for some reason, he just seemed scared to actually run at anyone yesterday. I don't know whether he was maybe carrying a knock or
he put in the one good cross, probably the best chance of the half and probably the best chance of the game for us, really, when Haller had the header in the first half. But apart from that, like you say, mate, very slow in that last final bit. Like we get to a sort of 18-yard mark, and it's like, pass it this way, pass it that way. And Yarmolenko, I'm a big fan of him, but at the moment he's taking too many touches. He's taken up 3-4 touches, and we lose that zip in the passing.
Yeah, his little flicks weren't really coming off. But I mean, that was just in general. I think Lanzini, had a good game. He was very composed, and he was really the only one actually looking to drive with the ball. And everyone else.
I remember Noble having a good chance in the first half as well. Again, not brilliant. It was from the edge of the box, then as it come down.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I think we had 13 shots, 1 on target. I don't remember the majority of those shots, to be honest with you. A lot of blocked efforts.
Fab pulled off a couple of worldies as well. We had a great game, Fabianski. Real dominant, absolutely clattered that guy cross, but great goalkeeping. I remember he pulled off another really good save in the first half. But yeah, 0-0. I say a bit lackluster first half. In terms of second half, that's where it all started kicking off a bit, really, didn't it? What do you make them, mate? Just quickly on the first half, actually. It is a discussion point that's coming up on all the channels and obviously the pundits as well. The Tyrone Mings, was it El Ghazi headbutt thing?
Yeah.
Letters of the law say it should be a sending off. But as a football fan, are you against, if you see Diop do that to Honor or, Zabaleta square and stuff, like if you would have seen Julian Dix do that back in the day, etc., you wouldn't want it, would you? And you wouldn't really want it as an opposition fan either.
Yeah, I mean, no, I wouldn't want to see a red card for that. Like you say, by the letter of the law, he put his head into him. Really, he should have been sent off. I mean, the ref, what's his face? I forgot his name.
Mike Dean.
Shocking performance from him in general. But he actually went over to him after that and sort of, while they were checking it on VR, he went over to him and said, I actually think, because VAR probably said to him, listen, that's a red card, but I think he overruled it. But he went over to him. You can see he go over to him and say, you're on the same team, calm down. And I think Neville and Carragher said it at half time as well. Like, it's good to see that, You don't mind them having a row. You don't mind them arguing with each other. You want that sort of passion, but he shouldn't be putting his head into anyone. But then, like you say, at the same time, you wouldn't want to see someone sent off for that either. I think that's something that the players will deal with that at half time in the dressing room. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that's something you need to be seeing red cards.
Could we have had a red card in the first half as well, mate? Just before we move on, Noble obviously was on a yellow. Was that a dive?
I don't think he dived. It didn't look great, but I don't think he dived. He was watching the ball all the way. He went down, jumped up straight away. He never appealed for a penalty. It didn't look. It looked a bit weird the way that he fell, but there was no claim from him. He was up straight away. He never took his eyes off the ball. No, I don't think it was a dive.
So second half, mate. Obviously quite early doors because we didn't really have many other chances. Like I say, I remember right near the end, like Fornells had one right at the end where he should have laid the best in. Apart from that, the biggest talking point of the second half, mate, was the red card. Shocking.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Terrible decision. And it was a really bad decision from the referee. It was barely a foul, let alone a red card. No way it was a red card. You know, he was waiting, I think, to send someone off.
He was waiting for the leg to come. Didn't come. And he still sort of made it look like it did come. He played it well. Do you know what I mean? Villa were very clever at all those little naughty things they were doing last night.
Yeah, and I think this isn't because he's going to be banned now for the game against Man United. And I think VAR can't overturn yellow cards, so we can't appeal it. VAR couldn't have done anything about it. But again, why not? Why if we've now got this technology, why are we not looking at these rules and saying, well, actually, why can't we get
Gonzo made a really good point actually on Hammer's chat. He said he would have been better off flattering him and then going, well, let's see if they review it for a red card or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Rather than having the risk of the yellow.
Yeah, it's interesting because after the game, both Rice and Noble said they thought it was a red, but I don't think either of them had seen the replay. But Rice said after the game, he sort of went over to him and said, "What were you doing?" And there was a bit of naivety there as well. Really, even going in for that challenge, when you're on a yellow card, you've got to be careful. You have got to be careful. But it was a poor decision. No way was it a second yellow. No way should he have been sent off for that. No. But realistically, in my opinion, that turned the game in our favour. You know,
we did play better.
Yeah, talking about, you know, how everything was slow and, you know, it weren't until we went down to 10 men we started to up the tempo and cause them problems. I have to say as well, I was really surprised Zabaleta came on to sort of fill that gap, came on at left back. I thought Zabaleta, obviously, he only played, 15, 20 minutes, but he played brilliant for those 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. He did. Really, really did. And Fornells, he did a little bit magic. He's still a bit raw, Fornells. I like him. You probably can see a player in there, but did a bit raw for me.
I think he did well when he came on. He was a good outlet. He did exactly the job that he was brought on to do, to relieve pressure off the defence, to carry the ball up the pitch. There was a couple of chances. I think it was Fornells just before the one at the end. He played the ball out, and it came to Noble, who sort of tried to cut inside and have a shot, and it hit a defender. I think there I was thinking if Anderson was still on the pitch, that's where you want that ball to be going. But it was a good.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised that Anderson went off. Actually, I was a bit surprised.
I don't think Anderson was having the best of games. Like I say, he just seemed like he didn't want to take anybody on. He just kept standing up the defender and then cutting inside and playing it back or playing it inside. He never really, I don't know, it was weird. He weren't really like trying to run into the box. He weren't really doing anything. I don't know. I don't think he had a good game.
In hindsight, though, mate, with 10 men, I think it's the famous saying you sat quite a lot actually on the channel. Went away from home is always a good win, a clean sheet. Well, in hindsight, I'm quite happy with that result.
Yeah, no, you're right, mate. I do. I say it all the time. An away point, never something to be sniffed at. Another clean sheet, which is good. I will say as well, actually, talking about a clean sheet, I thought Diop and Ogbonna were brilliant, absolutely
Diop was
brilliant.
fantastic.
Both of them. I thought Diop and Ogbonna were absolutely brilliant. They seem to be settling into a nice partnership now, which is good to see. Balbuena came on literally right at the end. Obviously, no chance to do anything, but nice to see him.
At least on to this one, mate. Who was your man of the match? Declan Rice got loads of plaudits, saying he was world class, spectacular in that midfield again yesterday. Yeah, anyone from Diop and Rice I thought were fantastic yesterday. Really good.
I would agree with Fabianski as well as a shout.
Oh yeah. Fabianski was fantastic.
But no, I would agree. I would give it to Rice. Brilliant, broke up the play really well. He made some really good passes in the second half as well, and he actually really surprised me towards the end of the game. He made a run down the left-hand side, and he had two defenders tracking him. And I was sitting there thinking, "Go on, Declan!" And he ended up like sort of cutting inside both of them and coming inside the pitch. I thought, "Wow, where did that come from?" Rice. I'll give it to Rice. I think he had a really, really good game.
Yeah, I think the most important thing was, we stayed on the run of being defeated since the Man City game. Last season, Rice even said it in his press conference, didn't he? Last season we lose that game, and I think that was a really valid. Just a quick one, mate, on this. Just a little topic. VAR, 5 games in. What are your opinions on it? Just very quickly. It's not. I think the key thing is it's not the technology that's the problem. The fact that it's not being used in the right way.
Yeah, I think the first weekend it was madness. There were reviews.
Excited. Yeah, let's just use it.
But yeah, there were reviews so much. There were some people would say there were too many reviews. It was breaking up the game too much. But in my opinion, that's what it's there for. And I don't think it was that bad. I know everyone was saying how shocking it was, especially our game against City. But I genuinely don't think it was that bad. It was probably very different from the fans in the stadium. Obviously, I was watching it on telly.
Like on that first game as well, it's as if like they're scared to overturn the official's decision now. It's if like they don't want to use it.
Yeah, 100%. I think because after the first weekend, everyone was saying, "Oh, this is madness. They're using it too much." I think after that, they were sort of told, "Right, let's calm down. Let's not use it as much." But now I think it's gone too far the other way. And you're seeing. So what was it at the referees meeting last week? They said there were 4 decisions that they should have overturned.
Yeah, Haller's penalty, weren't it?
Yeah. And you think if they're not going to be overturning these decisions, what's the point?
I agree. What is the point of using it if you're not going to use it, basically?
But I mean, it's weird because on the other side of that argument, I did see a good comment on News Up Mother Brown where someone said that they'd said that there were 4 decisions that they got wrong that they should have overturned that they didn't, but then there were 6 decisions that they overturned correctly. So you could look at it, and this person said, well, that's a 60%. That's 6 more decisions than you would have got right last season. So it's a 60% improvement. I suppose if you look at it like that, but I don't know. I think for me, if you're going to start bringing technology into the game, you've got to get them all right. Otherwise, what's the point?
You think, it's not my opinion, it's just some of the suggestions in work today. They thought maybe you have 2.5 as a manager. I don't like that idea.
I don't really either. I've seen a lot of people saying that about having it as a review system. I know quite a few other sports do it. I think the way that I would like to see it implemented would still be to have how it is now. So they still review every decision. They're still constantly looking at it, but also maybe then give a manager 2 reviews on top of that, not just have 2 reviews and that's it. Forget about VR the rest of the game.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. And then if you do have any situations, so like the Allaire penalty last week, even though the ref decided no, then the manager could have said, right, well, no, I want this reviewed, and he could have used his review for that.
Yeah, so, like a sort of trump card once and a half for a key decision. Yeah, that could work.
And he could have even in last night's game right at the end when Fredericks went down for a potentially could have had a penalty. I don't think it was a penalty, but again, the manager could have said, right, I want that reviewed.
Or even the red card
Yeah,
card.
well, I don't like.
Oh yeah, the second
Current
yellow.
rules can't overturn a yellow anyway. But I think that's probably the way that I would like to see that implemented. I don't think that's a bad idea.
Moving on. Obviously, we are playing them this weekend, and this seemed to be the topic at the end of every bloody match on Sky Sports at the minute. It turns into a United debate. Obviously, they did discuss it briefly about Declan Rice. And Jamie Carragher was saying, yeah, we can see him in United, Chelsea, and City, whatever. Not for 90 million, 50 million up. Listen, he's going to go at some point. It's going to be for the price that we want him to go. All this talk of, yeah, I'd buy him for 50 million. 50 million just buys you a good player now. Above average good player now.
Yeah.
Like Haller, 45 million, Anderson, 40 million. For the sell-on value that Rice has got, the career that he's potentially got, no, I wouldn't accept any less than 70, 75 million. Maybe not the 90.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I think so. First of all, I just want to say, I said this last night. The after match coverage was disgusting from Sky. Disgusting. They basically spent pretty much all of it talking about who Declan Rice should move to. So disrespectful. Shocking, terrible from Sky, but that's what they do. But I think that's what Gary Neville was saying, was that the point that he was making was to get Rice out of West Ham would cost 90 million. I don't think he was saying he's necessarily worth 90 million, but he was saying that that's how much it would cost to get him out of West Ham, which is probably true. Let's be realistic. If Man City threw 90 million on the table,
he's gone. And I would, mate, sit there and hold my hands up and say that's a fantastic deal, because to a club like us, we're not a selling club anymore. 90 million slapped on the table. That's two Sebastian Haller level players that we're bringing in. 45 million, 45 million, or 60 million, 30 million would improve our side. Two players losing one for 90. As much as I don't want to lose Declan.
I think the other thing as well is, it seems everyone's talking about, so the discussion as well is, if he does go, which we know he's going to go at some point, where does he go? Man United obviously would use him, but, and this is going to sound stupid, I don't want to come across sounding like an idiot here, because Man United are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. But at the moment, I don't want to say it'd be taking a sideways step, because Man United are a much, 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 much bigger club than us. But, we're a club on the up. I'm being realistic here.
Are you looking at a club like Man United? And again, I'm going to magpie Paul's words here. Man United are a massive club. Are you looking at Manchester United at the moment as a player going there to win trophies?
No.
If Liverpool come in for you, City come in for you, and dare I say it, Tottenham come in for you, might be looking at, do you know what? I might be getting in some finals here. I might be winning some trophies here. Man United, like Arsenal at the moment. Arsenal just, if we finish fourth, that's a good season, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Let us know, guys, what you think on the Declan Rice situation. So that moves in nicely to this Sunday. Manchester United at the London Stadium. Again, another massive game. Chance for us to make what would be a 3-point gap over them, because we're all level on like 8 points at the moment, aren't we? They're currently sitting in fourth. They've won 2, drawn 2, lost 1. Their last time out was against Leicester, a 1-0 win with a Rashford penalty. They have not had a lot of penalties this year as well. They seem to be getting penalties for fun, Manchester United. On a weekly basis. Not that they put one away every week, because they had a few issues with the penalties. The last time we played them was back in April, a 2-1 win for them. I'm sure anyone watching, and I'm sure Paul himself, will remember how controversial that game was. A penalty that shouldn't have been a penalty. Disallowed goal that wasn't offside. I think even their second goal was a bit controversial as well, if I remember. I think someone was taken out. Someone was taken out the lead up to that goal. But yeah, that was a controversial game. And with VAR, maybe that would have been different. But importantly, last season at the London Stadium, 3-1 win. Massive. great goal from Anderson, the back flick, an own goal, which was deflected from a Yarmolenko shot, and obviously the snake Arnautovic with the third. Don't fear these guys. They can hurt us. Got players that can hurt us.
Yeah. No, undoubtedly. I think, if their players turn up, the likes of Rashford, Martial, Pogba, obviously dangerous players. But no, like you say, mate, I don't fear Man United anymore. They've not got that. They haven't got that fear factor now. I don't think. They can be got at. It'd be interesting, actually thinking about it now. That Daniel James against Fredericks. That's going to be a good race. That is.
Good
But yeah, no, 100%. I 100% think that these are there to be taken. 100%. And again, this is another one of those games. It's a weird one. It don't feel as big as a game as last night's, but it's one of those games now. We need to be looking at this. I know it's Man United, but we need to be looking at this and saying, right, if we are going to take that step, we need to be winning this game.
Yeah, I don't know whether you watched it, mate. The Leicester game, I thought Leicester were really unlucky in that game, to be honest. I thought Leicester peppered their goal for fun, and they just got the penalty and just needs to sit on it. Like we say, the players that can hurt us, you've picked out one there, James. Rashford, always good for a goal if he's in the mood. Martial loves scoring against us. Always seems to turn up against us as well. Obviously, Maguire's a danger from corners. Wan-Bissaka, who will he be running up against? Who will be in at left back on Sunday? Obviously, will it be Cresswell? Will it be young Ben Johnson in there? I'd be tempted to put Ben Johnson in there, if I'm honest.
I would as well, mate. I would actually be very tempted to put him in. I don't think he'll play, though. He'll play. Cresswell will play. I can't see him putting Johnson in, but I would like to see it.
Looking at us, what do you think, mate? Is there any sort of changes that need to happen, in your opinion, to the starting lineup? Obviously, after a result yesterday, which wasn't a bad result in any sense, but it wasn't a good result. Is there anyone that you would add in or take out?
I don't think I would change it. The only person I would like to see Fornals get a start again. I would like to see him get a start, but I don't know who he comes in for. I don't know. I mean, he's not a winger, so I don't know if.
It's really weird saying this, but and I never thought I'd say this. We actually miss Antonio's sort of player.
We do.
We've got all the lovely, pretty players technically, but we miss that little just raw. I'm going to get the ball and run through people.
I think I would maybe be tempted to put Anderson on the right, play Lanzini on the left, and bring Fornals in to that number 10 position. That's something I'd maybe be tempted to try. It's hard though, because I do like Yarmolenko, and he's one of those players where, even though he's not fully fit yet in these games, trying to get out of fitness, but he's still one of them players that can make something happen out of nothing.
He's got a goal in him. That left foot's a wand when it goes. Definitely.
Yeah. So, and it's probably going to be.
What's Man United's weaknesses? Where do you see us hurting them? Where can we hurt them?
I mean, apart from, like we've said, 2 or 3 players, and then De Gea, if he wants, is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but he hasn't had a great time over the last season. Just signed a new contract
today, I believe. Just signed a new contract today.
But I just don't. I don't know. I think they've got a few players that can hurt you, but I don't think overall, over the whole pitch. I think if our front 4 click as we know they can, I think we could tear them to pieces. I really do.
I think if we play like we did against Norwich, I can see a convincing win, to be honest with you. I'm not saying like 3-1, 4-1, like a good convincing 2-0 win, like where we look quite professional. Are your predictions then, mate?
I don't know. It's becoming really difficult to predict West Ham games at the minute.
I hate predicting wins. Really hate predicting us to win.
I hate predicting wins, but I do think we will win. I'm going to predict 2-0. I'm going to predict 2-0.
Another clean sheet. And the run continues, eh? Interesting. Yeah, I think we'll concede. I think there'll be another dodgy pen for them. We'll get a dodgy pen. But I can see us winning. I hate saying that, but I can see us winning. We seem to be a different club this year. we definitely got a little bit more about us this year. Owen Hargreaves said it actually on another channel. I think it was one of like the American channels. Said that he can see, West Ham are building something really special here. Okay, a few other things just before we wrap up, mate. There's a few questions, and there was another thing I want to discuss. So, other business that we haven't discussed since the last podcast. The London Stadium naming rights. Apparently, the new chief executive I can't remember her name. It's a woman. Has said that she wants to invite West Ham in to, with the naming rights stuff. That does this even another step forward into us owning stadium at some point?
No, I don't think this is going to directly impact that at all. I still think that's going to happen in the future. I don't think that this directly is going to impact that. I mean, it doesn't really, to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference because we only get a certain percentage over a certain amount anyway on the naming rights deal. So, and I don't know, unless they've got an absolutely massive sponsor lined up, I don't think it's going to make much difference to West Ham at all. I just hope if they are going to do it, it's someone decent. Do you know what I mean? It's not a stupid like two bob sponsor. I just hope they get a proper decent
stadium.
Yeah. I just hope they get a decent sponsor lined up.
Yeah, it would be nice. Apparently, it's something that I read. Like you were saying about percentage over 4 million, I think it is. So if we get, say, give us 10 million a season, a certain amount over 4 million. Okay, a few questions. Some of these I can't put on the screen because they're coming on, but I have got a few in the chat that I will put up after these couple. JP says, what do you feel was the cause of the lackluster performance last night, albeit against a very well-organised Villa side? I think we touched on it a little bit. Just a bit slow. That final third of the pitch, we just wanted to overplay a little bit. I got a bit Arsenal of old, if I could put a finger on it.
I think we were too cautious. I do. Like I say, I think we were scared to lose. I think we were scared to mess it up because it's as the fact that Rice said this is a game that we lose last season. That was obviously in their mind. Do you know what I mean? And I think we were so scared of messing up and losing that we were too cautious. I say everything was too slow going forward. No one was really making runs in behind. No one was taking anybody on. And I think that was a problem. We were just too cautious, far too cautious. I think if we'd have gone out and attacked them quickly like we did in the last sort of 15, 20 minutes, I think we would have won that game easily. But yeah, that's what my opinion. I think we were just too cautious.
Another one from Instagram, Soul Promo. Is anyone who plays football at any level prepared to admit it trained to fall over in such a way they direct it so they can look at the ref whilst holding their arms out for a foul? When I was a lad, if I got fouled, my first action would be to look at the guy who fouled me and question why he did it.
That's quite funny. Look at the guy who fouled me and question why he did it. I don't know. I can't imagine that being fouled and going.
I definitely believe that has gone on in the continent for years. I don't just want to say Spanish players. I want to say European, South American players. Definitely, that was coaches looked at something in a day and gone, listen, we can win pens, we can win free kicks if we sell a dive, and those the European leagues, South American leagues is such light touches awarded, especially in Italian league as well. Serie A is renowned, like it's more like a no contact league, Serie A, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 100%, 100%. And I know we're talking about European leagues and South American leagues, but 100% in England as well. There's absolutely no doubt about it that it's something that maybe it wouldn't be fair to say that they're specifically coached and trained to go down a certain way, but 100% they're being told, listen, if you feel contact, go down. 100%.
Okay, let's put this one on the screen so I can read it as well. Evening, gents. Does the 4-3-3 we end up playing last season suit us better than the 4-2-3-1, 4-1-4-1, i.e. playing Rice, Noble, Wilshere in the midfield, Lanzini, Haller and Anderson up front?
I think you know, if we were playing in that example there, Rice, Noble, Wilshere, it's a slow midfield. I think we'd get. I know there's 3 bodies in there, but I think we'd get overrun, and I don't think there's enough attacking threat there. I actually really like the formation that we're playing at the minute. You know, Rice just sitting. I actually think Rice and Noble are playing really well, having sort of Rice, Noble, Lanzini just in front, the 2 wide players, and the striker. I really like that shape. I really like that shape. I don't think the 4-3-3. Personally, I don't think the 4-3-3 would suit us better. I think you could maybe make an argument that 3 at the back with wing backs might suit us better, but not a 4-3-3 in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's games, that suit Noble, Rice, Wilshere midfield. I agree with you, mate. It's when we've tried it a couple of times, it's just a little bit slow and laboured, not enough dynamism in there. Yeah. Next question and last question. Good question, this. Which players of ours do you think get into United starting 11? Well, I think one name picks itself straight away. The name that's getting patted everywhere, Declan Rice, obviously goes in for probably someone like your Matic, someone like that. Who's United's left back? Oh, it's Luke Shaw. Yeah, so Luke Shaw stays for me. You reckon Diop potentially next to Maguire?
I reckon Diop gets into their starting 11. I reckon Diop gets in. Rice gets in. I reckon Felipe Anderson gets in.
Yeah.
I reckon there's even a shout that Lanzini would get in that team at the minute as well.
Lanzini for Mata potentially. Is that me being a little bit too claret and blue sunglasses? I don't know, because Mata is a fantastic player. Yeah, that's it really, guys. I do have one question because it was a really good topic last time. Here's one for you, mate. What is your favourite WWE theme song?
Favorite WWE theme song?
I like that conversation just to end last week.
Man, I don't know.
But do you have a favourite WWE moment?
You actually mentioned it last week with the
street match.
Yeah, that street match between Triple H and Mick Foley, and when The Rock come out and he hit Triple H with a chair. That I was watching that like, oh my god, this is real.
I did have a good one actually. I don't know if you watched it just very quickly. Did you ever watch the Ric Flair versus show Steel Cage?
No.
It was like, oh my god, Ric Flair's going to win the title at like 78 years old. Like. Who we got here? Sorry, one more question. Very quickly, last one came in. Mark, fan of the channel when we only have 1 subscriber. Nice to see you, Mark. Hi, guys. Not as a starter, but I'd like to see Nathan Holland get a chance down the right-hand side at some point, depending on how the game is going. What are your thoughts? Nice to see you guys back on the basically, yeah, I really want to see this guy. This guy keeps getting touted as the new Ryan Giggs. All you ever hear from people like X is this is the best talent in our youth academy. Yeah, just, what's the harm in putting him on a bench? I'm surprised we haven't seen him in the the Carling Cup games, or the Carabao Cup as it's called now. Did you also read about the 15-year-old that played centre back in the under-23s? Did you read about that? So we played Valencia's under-23s as part of like some European friendly thing. 15-year-old played centre back for us, kept a clean sheet. 15 years old in the under-23s. So again, if that's someone with a future, you know what I mean,
it's good to see. Yeah, no, 100%. It's great to see.
Charlie says, obvious answer, but Stone Cold's theme is so good. Glass breaking at the beginning, she's about to kick off.
Listen, it's true. Like the hype with the.
I do love the Undertaker's theme as well.
Yeah,
just impact. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. Great to see you guys all chatting in the chat and sending in your questions. Try and make that a regular thing, guys. Joining us ever, chatting in the chat. Send questions in live. Look, we're just showing, we'll put anything up, try and answer it as long as it's not too controversial, obviously. Now I can put it on screen for children to read. I'm not too bothered about it. Until probably after the Manchester United game, I may come back just before if there's any major news. But until then, guys, actually, one more. Sorry, do apologise. kept him for a reason. I think he sees promise in him. So until then, guys, hit the subscribe button. Pass this video on to your friends if you know they're West Ham fans and they like talking about West Ham and hearing West Ham stuff. Until then, anyways, keep believing. Let's go.
Cheers.